Hello, I'm Christy and this is MamieGraceDesigns. So today I'm going to share a little bit about what I'm wearing, a couple of past makes, two more shawls, and then I want to talk about a list of wool festivals that I've been compiling. As I've become a very passionate knitter, I have been looking for festivals to attend, and it's really hard to find a master list. So I decided I would just start compiling one, and I would love for people to share festivals in their local area with me. And if you do, I will email you my list so you'll have access to it. It's on a Google Sheet. And at the end, I'm gonna talk a little bit about my favorite Christmas things here in my house and whatever. It is December 23rd, 2024, and I have my Santa hat on. I played some pickleball with my mom earlier, so bad hair day, but Santa hat is always good. Okay, so what I'm wearing, I have on my modern Huga shawl, I think I'm saying that right, designed by Grace Akram. Hope I'm saying that right. I used Emma's Simply Spectacular DK for this. It feels so amazing. I used Bohemian Market, which I thought it was in here. Oh yeah, here's the Bohemian Market. And then the beige is Beach Please, and the pink is Himalayan Salt. I love this shawl. It is so big and comfy. It is a large shawl. This would be great for traveling because you could use it to cover up in an airplane. Take it off your neck and cover your whole body with it. I did follow the recommended needle size, which was 7. And you know, it's a shawl. I never worry about gauge swatching with a shawl because it's not really going to be too big. This was from when I was pretty new knitter, and I did not like to swatch. I now actually enjoy the process of swatching. I'm not in such a hurry. Back then I was like, I gotta knit, I don't want to do that. I want to get to it. Now I'm kind of like, I like the whole process of, I take my time in choosing my colors. I don't rush into it. The swatching process, first of all, helps me get good at the pattern. Like I just did a test knit where it was what I call vertical knitting. You know, most knitting we go horizontally, but this pattern you knitted sideways like this all the way around. And the swatching really, I had to swatch 3 times, first of all to get gauge, and second of all to get my right colors. I did 3 different color combinations before I decided what I wanted to do. And that whole swatching process just makes it so that when I get to the main project, it is perfect. Well, as perfect as I can make it. I mean, there's always mistakes. But so it's a shawl. I don't care if I didn't get gauge. So I have no idea if I hit gauge or not. I didn't even check. And you know, I didn't keep any notes. I can remember what I used on this. It's pretty easy to tell, but I don't have a knitter's notebook from back then. I only recently started keeping notes. So almost everything I show you from the past, I'm going to be guessing. And in fact, these next 2, I'm just going to have to post. I don't know what yarns I used. I'm going to have to guess and look things up. I'm going to do some voiceovers because I don't know. And I need to look it up. This was a really quick knit. It's one of those things that says it uses 1 skein. It was a color changing skein, and you know what? I discovered that this is not my favorite kind of thing. I think I liked it on someone else, or maybe I just don't love these colors together, or I never wear this. I've made it, but actually I've never worn it. I did like the design where it has little, kind of like a bobble on the edge. I thought that was real cute. Can you see it down here? I like the edging. I want to say this is a hohi, but I'm not positive. The next one is definitely a hohi. That's the top. Here's the I love that little bobble edge. But I can't even tell if I got it on good. Hopefully I do. This one was a Hohi single skein. And I love this little edge, and I thought this would be cute with like my sweatshirt. Just throw it on over a sweatshirt. Do I have it on the right way? I can't tell. Navy, I kind of think goes with everything. Navy is almost like a neutral to me. I'm not doing this very well. I hope that looks good. I can't tell. I don't have a mirror. I feel like it should be higher up. This is why I love those Andrea Mowry shift cowls, because I said there's no fuss styling. I don't do this with the Andrea Mowry cowls. I throw them on and I feel good. I know they look good. Which, you know, takes you a while to decide. Took me a while anyway to decide what my main style was. And I love, like, I will never stop making the shift cowl. I showed those in my first episode. I can't tell if that looks good. I hope it does. I do love this little fringe trim on this. I think it's so cute. And I wear this with I live in Little Rock, Arkansas. Forgot to tell you that. And I wear this with like my Razorback sweatshirts. And this is an Emma's yarn, fingering weight. I'm gonna have to look it up and I'll post it in the notes. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that on. Let's talk about wool festivals. I am very anxious to go to some wool festivals. And the very first one I ever learned about was Vogue Knitting Live. And that's a big deal. It's in New York City. You know, New York City is expensive. It's hard to get there. I live in Little Rock. There's no direct flights anywhere from Little Rock. And it's in mid-January, which is actually right around my birthday. My birthday is January 13th. And the festival is January 17th through 19th this year. So it'd be a great thing for me to ask for my birthday. But here's the deal. I don't have any close friends that knit. And I don't really want to go to New York City alone. I will travel alone. In fact, I'm going to 2 yarn festivals in March by myself. But it's always more fun if you have a friend that does it. Side note, I have started a knitting group here. I'm teaching knitting. I have 4 friends who wanted to learn. There was actually a 5th one, but her schedule wouldn't work with the day that we were meeting. So she didn't get to join me this time. I'm hoping she'll get to join in the future. But just from my posts on Facebook, I had friends say, I want to do that. I want to learn. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to start my own knitting group. And it's people that I already like. They're my friends. So maybe they will want to go to yarn festivals with me in the future, or wool festivals. So let me just go through my list that I have compiled so far. One lady that I follow, I can't think of what her Instagram name is right now. She was a guest speaker at K2P2, which is in the Netherlands. That was on November 11th. These are international. Start with international. Barcelona Knits is in Spain. That's in mid-November. And Munich Knits is in Germany. That's first week in December. Now, I don't have Edinburgh Yarn Festival on here. I would love to go to Edinburgh. I would love to go to, let's see, that's Scotland. I'd love to go to Ireland. I'd love to go to England. I read a series of books that take place in the Cotswolds. It's really making me want to go to the Cotswolds. Those are obviously much bigger, a bigger deal to attend from the United States. So I did, those are like to me, the less realistic visits. So I just did those up front. Now let's talk about national. Okay, so like I said, Vogue Knitting Live was the first festival I ever really heard about. And I started thinking, well, what other yarn festivals are there and how do I find this out? And I kind of asked a few people that I followed on Instagram, and they gave me like just random here and there things. So as I started following more people on YouTube, more knitters, and I would hear them talk about the things they attended, I started just keeping a notes page in my phone. And these are all the ones I have compiled thus far. I know there are way more. And please, message me, tell me the ones that you know of and the ones that you like, maybe the ones that are smaller that people don't know about. I like a well-kept secret. We actually have a little yarn festival here in Arkansas, and I have not attended it yet, but at one of my local yarn shops last year, I asked because they had a booth there. I think they did, or they talked about it. Anyway, it came up in conversation, and they said it tended to be more fiber than yarn, and I don't spin, so I wasn't terribly interested in attending it. And one of the ones I'm going to in March had a conflict with it, so I chose the one that was out of town just because it's a little bigger and I know it's going to have lots of yarn, whereas my one in Arkansas sounds like it's more fiber. But so I kind of did these chronologically. They're following the year. They're not in any alphabetical order. It'd probably be nice if I had a list that was also in alphabetical order, so maybe I'll do that too. But here's what I have. So Vogue Knitting Live starts the year off in January. That's in New York. Unwind Retreat is in Kansas City, Kansas, March 6th through 9th. I have a ticket. I have an Airbnb. And I'm real excited that one of the people I follow online, Amy Schur, she is going to be a speaker there. Unfortunately, I could not get a ticket to her speaking. I'll just kind of hang out and hope that maybe someone cancels. Maybe there's a spot in the back at the end, or maybe I can meet her before or after she speaks. I would love that. Nash Yarn Fest is March 14th through 15th. I also have a ticket to that and an Airbnb. Those are back-to-back weekends. I kind of hate that, but oh well. Shepherd's Harvest is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's a smaller retreat that I've heard a YouTuber share that she went to, and I love the idea of that. I actually have a couple of sorority sisters who live in Minneapolis, and I might hit them up for a place to stay and attend that festival. And one of them, okay, so I mentioned in my last video that I have a service dog that we used to work with sexually abused kids, and my friend up there, she now has a service dog. He's this giant mastiff named Otis. He is so cute. I'll post a picture of him. I mean, he is adorable. Okay, Flock is in Seattle in August. So there's a big gap from May to August. But honestly, like here in Arkansas, it's so hot in the summer, you really don't want to knit. I do. I knit all the time. But that's when you want to knit with cotton. Anyway, I'm just saying for these outdoor type festivals, it'd be pretty dang hot here anyway. And that's a very well-known festival, I feel like, Flock. Wisconsin Sheep and Wool is in September 5th through 7th of next year, which that is located between Madison and Chicago. I kind of looked on my map just to get an idea. Wool Gathering is in Yellow Springs, Ohio. That's the third week in September. I feel like that's not as big of a festival, but I don't know that for sure. Everybody knows New York Sheep and Wool, located in Rhinebeck, New York. A lot of people just call it Rhinebeck. That is October 19th through 20th of this past year. And so I would say mid-October. And along with those, I just have listed Indie Untangled and Cakeapalooza, which are all right in that same area. They seem to all have a different flavor though. You know, the Sheep and Wool is huge, has animals, which I love that part of it. I would love to see some sheep, get my hands on them. Like I'd like to see a Rambouillet. I'd like to see a blue Leicester. I don't know what they're called, BFL, blue face Leicester. What did I say? Rambouillet. Whatever these sheep I hear about all the time. I'd love to see one and feel one and what's the difference in them. I see on Instagram, I see those sheep that are white with little black faces, and I think they have ears, but they're so adorable. What kind of sheep is that? What does that wool feel like? I'd love to put my hands on one. I also included Nee Knits, can't think of her name, that I follow. She did the New York City yarn crawl this year, and that looked fun. That was in early November. So maybe if I didn't want to go to Rhinebeck or New York Sheep and Wool, maybe I could go just do their yarn crawl. Arkansas also has a yarn crawl. I have only made it to maybe 4 or 5 of our local yarn shops in the yarn crawl, but New York would be a little easier to do. Big city. I mean, Arkansas, it takes, like this year I went to Rich Mountain Yarn Shop, which is in Mena, Arkansas, and that's a 2.5 to 3 hour drive from Little Rock. So that's a whole day just to go to that one shop. Sacred Sheep is in Portland, Oregon. I feel like that's a very popular one. That's early November. This year it was November 1st through 3rd. And then one that you don't hear about a lot is Taos Wools Festival. From doing a test knit, I've kind of become friends with some people on Instagram, and one of them is a dyer, and it's Pink Adobe. I can't think of her whole name. She has yarns at I want to say Cathead Fibers. I'm not positive if I'm saying that right. The local yarn shop in Taos. And so by following her, I saw that Taos has a Wolves Festival, and it was in mid-December this year. And I love Taos. If you've never been, it is such a cool artsy town. It's very small. It's completely different than Santa Fe. Santa Fe is very bougie and Taos is very artsy. Taos is granola. And I go there, I stop through there on my camping trips. I do a camping trip each summer with a girlfriend, and we frequently drive straight to Taos. That's about a 13-hour drive from Little Rock, and stay the night. And then one year we stayed in Cuesta, just a little bit north of Taos, and camped and hiked around that area. Last year we went to Telluride, and so we just stopped off in Taos for the night, and then the next day made it into Telluride. Next year we're going to stop in Taos and then going up to Pagosa Springs to camp. So I love Taos. It is just a really cool little town. Good food, lots of art galleries, a little little bitty local yarn shop. So I would not mind at all going to that Taos Wolves Festival. That is my whole list compiled at this point. I would love, again, for y'all to message me, and I will gladly email you my list, and we can keep growing it. I know there's so many places I just don't know about that probably have great wool festivals. Let's see, what else I think. Now I'm going to show you some of my favorite Christmas things in my house, since it is 2 days until Christmas. It's getting dark outside. I hope my light hasn't changed. It's 5:10. I can't stand daylight savings time. But I'm going to end with just some footage of my favorite things. And thank you so much for joining me. I hope I see you soon. Bye, friends.